I'm just
Go on,
wondering.
everybody. Lennox here from Simple 123 Trader. It is Friday, April the 4th. We are live at the New York Stock Market afternoon session. Glad you can join us. Hope everybody's doing well. And we are back. And I am just currently in a trade, in a sell on the NAS. Just hoping to stay alive in it here. See if this will hold. I'm looking for it to continue falling here, and we shall see if it does. It should, I would think.
Just a question where it's going to turn around at this point. It could go up.
This gap should hold it. I'm looking for it to continue falling.
Yeah, the gap is at 817.
All right, let me just take a look at the news for today. Was there news today? We did have some news.
Non-farm payroll.
In.
But the thing that you don't see in the report there is that there were a lot of adjustments for January and February in the payroll.
Yeah, we did have average hourly earnings that came in line. Non-farm payroll, non-farm employment change, that came in quite high compared to what they were expecting. Interesting. And unemployment rate, that came in about what they were expecting. And then Mr. Powell spoke. I'm not sure if he had made any dent in the market at that point, but he did speak. Okay, and then we'll look at, I keep doing this. This is just super annoying. Let's see, where am I here? Okay. We'll have a look at the US dollar and versus the Euro US dollar, and the US dollar has some strength today, while the Euro US dollar is falling. So, interesting turn of events there. So we do have lots of strength in the US dollar currently. Okay, now taking a look at where I am here. Why do I keep doing that? I'm not sure why that happens. Okay, let me go back to my trade, which was here. Okay, so I am looking for a drop here. So I did have again some nice profits, and I just went away from it here. So I moved my stop a tad higher just in case they decided to come up, and they did come up above that gap here. So yeah, I thought maybe they might just do that, but I'm looking for them to fall still. So let's see if that again we can get that drop. So looking at it from the 5-minute standpoint, we're in a downward mode. I've got from the high, and my mouse is a little slow because I still have the streaming going on in the background. It needs to go away. So hopefully it'll do that soon. All right, so I've got a 1, 2, 3 top here. Then this drop, move back up, another 1, 2, 3 top here, and then this drop. So could see some volatility in here. So I could get stopped out because it's very volatile in here, and this is indicative of a fourth wave area. But I'm looking for them to drop it through one more time to take out these lows here. So that would give us a nice structure in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well, so if I can survive the volatility in here, it should continue to fall.
Yeah, volatility has been all over the place this morning. it's been constantly high, really. I mean, I really should state it that way. And with right now, VIX is 40, so you know that says that there's a lot of fear and greed around. So things are very, very volatile.
Yeah, there's always a lot of fear and greed around, that's for sure. Okay. All right, what I wanted, hello to everyone on YouTube. For those who are watching us for the first time, especially, we are the S123 traders. Stands for simple, the simple 123 traders. We have a simple concept. We look for 1, 2, 3 tops or bottoms. However, it's not a simple thing to trade. So I'll go into what we look for specifically, and give you an idea of what we're looking for. I'm going to take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average today because that's something that we haven't looked at in a while, and I think this might give us an idea of where we are overall in these markets. I'm just going to take a little partial off here on this trade once I get back down a little bit further here. Okay, that looks, whoops, just missed it. Okay, so I'll took a partial, bring my stop down a little bit. Still don't want to bring my stop down too tight because until they break that first low here, you need to break this low, both lows really, for us to start to move our stop down. But that gives us a little bit of profit there in the bank, just in case they decide to come back up for whatever reason. All right, so we'll find the Dow Jones. Where is the Dow? Dow Jones is here. So you can see Dow is leading the charge already. It's already down, breaking those lows. That's quite interesting. So you can see the pattern that the reason why I sold was because I'm looking for this move on the NASDAQ as well. So we're just going to quickly go back to the NAS. Here's the NAS. I'm on the futures actually. So here are the futures. So yeah, so it's the same pattern as on the Dow. The only difference is, you see they're chopping it up in here, that we're looking for a breach of these lows, whereas the Dow's already way below. So that's the difference. But we've got the same 1, 2, 3 and everything like that. If I go to the S&P, you'll see that on the S&P it will be similar, and we're looking for the drop as well. And so on the Dow, I'm gonna bring the Dow Jones down towards these guys as well, so that I can have them all together. I should have been doing this in the first place, putting them all together. So I'll have the Dow, make it easier on myself. The Dow, NASDAQ, the S&P. Yeah, I should have been doing that all along. Now I have to scroll all the time. Okay. Yeah, got Bitcoin there. Okay. So now if I look at the NASDAQ again, yeah, you can see it's almost identical to the S&P. So looking for them to drop it a little further, but I'm on the futures, so that's what it looks like there with the futures, basically the same. So we want to see the drop through where are they going to now will be the question. So I have to look for a target here. There's a low over here. So I could basically use that for a target short term. And that's probably plenty. Let's go a little lower, just a tad lower than that. There we go.
Being stubborn right now.
Yeah, playing around. Okay, so I'll go back to looking at the Dow. So I want to go to the monthly on the Dow. This you'll find quite interesting here, I think. All right, so this is the Dow Jones, and again, we can go way back in time, but we'll start at 2009, and this will give you an idea of where we are currently. So these are these three candles represent the last three current candles, and you can see we've had quite the run here, and now we're up at this level. So looking like at this point that this move, essentially from this point, we could say, or even doing the whole thing here, we could say that we know where we are based on that move right there. And typically this indicates that we're in a fourth wave, and I'll be looking for another move to go and take out the highs again. So that's what I would be expecting. I'm going to drop down to, I'm going to make it a little bigger so now we can see a little closer to where we are. So this is 2020 here at the low. This was in 2020, and we had this big move here, and then we had an interim move here, another inside move, another move to this level, chop, 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 drop. And looking for them, it looks like they're gunning to take out these lows here. So that's kind of where I think we're heading. There's a big gap here as well. So if I mark this off and put we've got a big gap here, we've got another gap here, so we've got double gaps back to back. So I would hope that we only come into the first one, and that should suffice, but we just can't be sure if they're going to go through that first one and come into the second one. So that looks like a likely trajectory down into this gap here. Okay, so this is all again we're on the monthly. All right, so
it's really going a lot lower now.
Yeah, so I'm getting close to my target there already on that trade. Okay, on the day, whoops, let's go to the weekly. Sorry, go to the weekly next. So on the weekly, looking for them to, right now we're coming to take out the first low here. I'm just going to mark this up so you can see what I'm seeing. And then we have another low here. And then we have a low here as well. So it looks like we're going to slice through these lows, more than likely. Take out these lows. We have no gaps until this weekly gap, which is also engulfed inside the monthly gap. So this could be the likely area that we come into. And we can see based on our structure up here that we have quite the drop so far, taking out the interim low. So that's a change of character. We've got a 1, 2, 3. So we could come down quite a ways here still. Right? We could come into this area, gyrate a bit, drop. So it looks likely that we could come right down into this middle target here area here. So 35,000 Dow is a likely possibility here. Okay, so that's what I'm kind of seeing. So based on this move here, So the only way that's not the case is if this is 1, 2 here, and then we go 3, 4, and then we just hit this basically here, and that would give us about a 37,500 Dow. But I'm kind of seeing the whole thing as 1, 2, and then we would be gyrating in here, like I say, and then dropping one more time. So that's a possibility before we get this turnaround to go back up. All right, so I'm going to come down to the daily. We'll look a little closer at this leg now. So this current leg that's going down, you can see how choppy we were. We got a double 1, 2, another 1, 2 here. This big drop into a fourth wave. Now we've got a 1, 2 here. So based on this 1, 2, which is controlling the move currently, we haven't hit a fourth wave yet. So we're still in the third wave. So I would be expecting perhaps a bounce imminently. You know, we could get a bounce back up, but we'll still continue down to taking out the lows again. So we're very close to that. Okay, so how close are we to the gap there? You can see the gaps are down here. So that's definitely in the cards there to get down there. All right, I think my hit my profit target on the NAS. I'm out of that trade. Probably going to continue going lower, but at that point, because we hit a low, we could expect a little bit of a bounce possibly. So that's the reason I took the trade to that profit level. All right, so we've cut through. We're still on the way down. I'm going to go down to the 4 hour. There's our big 1, 2, 3 top. We're dropping. So we were in a third wave. We need to have some bounce in here at some point, and we could be very close to that juncture right now. Okay, so that's kind of how I see it. All right, so I think that helps to see from the Dow perspective that it's almost the same as the NAS, but yet a little different. If I go to the daily on the NAS, for instance, a similar drop. You know, we have a big 1, 2, 3 up here. We drop. We chop up and down in here, and then we get this 1, 2, 3 top. So this is the key right now, this 1, 2, 3 top controlling the move. We've dropped, so I'd be looking for a chop and then another drop. I kind of like that terminology, you know, the drop, the chop, the drop. And I think they do that. And this is basically what they're doing all the time. They drop it, they chop it, or they move up, they chop it, and continue up. They move down, they chop it, they continue down. So, yeah, I'd be looking for a bounce at this point, or very close to this area. So, if I go up a little higher on the weekly, we can see where we are on the NAS. So, we are just taking out. We were very close to taking out swing low here, and we've gone through the gap at this point. I'm going to keep that gap on because this could turn into a wick at this point. So we could sweep this low. They might leave these lows alone, but they're equal lows, so it's a likely scenario that we will take them out as well. And then we could see some gyration in here before we continue one more time to the downside. So we're looking at a possibility of a 16,000 or less on the NASDAQ. Now that's a different number for a lot of people. So let me use the futures number, and we'll be looking at possibility of 16,000, same in that area. Okay, so there is a gap right here. So that's a likely area that we might come into. So that's in the 16,000 range. We don't have any other gaps. We have an order block here. We have another gap right here and there. There is a gap right here with this order block. So that might be the first line of defense there. So I'm going to use the low of that candle because the gap has already been mitigated. Yeah, So most of the gap's already been taken out. So there's a little sliver left. So it's certainly likely that we could drop into that. So there, I'll put this line here. This is the low coming up that we could certainly hit into at first. And yeah, we've gone through all these gaps, so these are no longer necessary. Yeah, so it looks like that's where they're heading. Take out this low first and maybe take out this low here. So we still have a ways to go down, George.
Yeah, but which low is it? Oh, yeah.
We've got the low at
I have to get back in,
17,355, which was on August of last year, August 5th. That low is next. And then we have the lows of April 24th, April 15th to be taken out next after that. So looking quite lean here, but I think after we finish this drop, which could come into here, then we would get a nice push that would take us back up to take out the highs, because we do have equal highs up here.
Are you on the 1 minute?
I'm on the weekly.
Okay.
That's the beauty of the charts, eh? This could be a 1 minute chart.
Yeah, the 1 minute has been climbing. It's getting ready to, well, it's not 50% yet.
Okay, so that's just a bounce before it falls again. So opportunity to get back in again. So I'll come down to that level, but I'm just going down step by step on the daily here, where you can see on the daily on the NAS, we've had this big drop here, drop in here, chop again, another 1, 2, 3 here, drop. So looking for them to chop it again and drop it. Same kind of thing. On the 4 hour, there's our controlling move, and we can look at it in a broken way. 1, 2, 3, chop, 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 and drop. And that's the same thing. And if I drop down to the hourly, we get another picture of it that way. So this morning was a big drop, and they chop and drop again. So a big, huge drop to the downside. There's a 1, 2, 3 here, and we're in the third wave again. So we're just in the third wave, maybe the last gasp of the third wave, but lots of opportunities here to the downside. This morning when the market opened, I was awake, and I decided I was awake before 6 this morning, incredibly. It's my time, which is 9 Eastern, before 9 Eastern. And so I decided, okay, let's see what's cooking in the markets, and I decided to take advantage of it and sell. And boy, did that work out well. So I could see, you can see, I could see what they were up to at this point. So we're up here, double 1, 2, and then this big drop. So this was before 9 a.m. and then they pushed back up. So at this point, I know that we're looking to take out these lows. Well, I'm expecting. I should never say I know. I'm expecting them to take out this low. So it was all sell time in here, but at 9:30. It became very volatile in here, but I still held to that drop and was able to take advantage of this move to the downside. Then went back to bed, and I got up just half an hour ago or so, an hour ago now. So very nice to be able to make some nice profits and then go back to bed. It's a lovely luxury to have. Sorry, Stacy, I know that you're out and about at that time. So, well, Stacy's not with us anymore. You see, Stacy's gone because
he was on before.
He was on before. Okay, so we've got Marquis with us, and Mr. Bain is with us. Well, hopefully, he's made out okay today.
Yeah, I caught that rundown.
Yeah, it's a lovely. So looking at it from 9:30, so this was the open at 9:30 here. We just mark 9:30 in this area here. So we had big 1, 2, 3 top, and then this drop. So I was able to catch this drop and looking for them to take out this low, and it worked out beautifully, and made quite a lot of profits in here. And then so I can see that after I'll be looking for a move back up and then a continuation to take out this low. So that's exactly what they did. And yeah, so because we have a 1, 2, 3 here, we would expect that move. We would expect them to come back down, take out this low, and that's what they did. So there's our 1, 2, 3 that's controlling this move, and we're looking for them to take the low. They've taken the low, but they're not done as yet. It doesn't look like. So we've got a 1, 2, 3 here. So we'll mark this. Another 1, 2, 3, drop, chop, another drop, and there's a 1, 2, 3 in here, and a drop. They're chopping again, so we should expect them to take the low one more time. So let's see if that's going to be so on the 1 minute. All right, so yeah, so I was in this trade here, jumped in this level, caught this move down, and they took out a low from over the left side. If I shrink the chart up, I think we'll be able to see it. Where is that? It must be the one. That's where I took my profit. Yeah, I took my profit at that low. And then now we're looking for another drop to take out this low. Why? Because we have a 1, 2, 3 here. So that would be what we would expect to happen, similar to what they did previously when I showed you. So a sell opportunity here to take out these lows one more time. All right, so what are we looking for as simple 1, 2, 3 traders? We're looking for this move. It's a 1, 2, in this case, it's a 1, 2, 3 top. And then we're looking to go to a target. So this is basically the structure that we look for. This is the ultimate entry in this area. We prefer to see a deeper retrace, of course, but that's what we're looking for. It's essentially a triangle, and then we're looking for a drop, and we want to take profits in this area here. Then we can again look for another 1, 2, 3 at this point to continue down one more time. That gives us our structure that we're looking for. The structure that we're looking for is this structure like that. So if I just draw it out like this, this is the structure we're looking for. We want to trade this down to the midpoint, and out we go. Then we can look for a new structure to go up, and we are again looking to play this guy up to that level, and out we go. And that's basically it. This is all we're looking for all the time. So what constitutes our 1, 2, 3? It has to be in context of a support area or a resistance area or some kind of gap or something to help us identify that, yes, we are at a legitimate proper 1, 2, 3 before we can decide to take the trade. So typical move, we're looking for price to come back into a 50 to 62% retrace area, and that's the basic goal.
It's a sloppy M.
I'm sorry?
It's a sloppy M.
A sloppy M indeed, yes. And we're also looking for, if there is a gap of any kind in this leg. A gap is ICT, Michael Huddleston's fair value gap. Then you can utilize the fair value gaps to help you enter the trade. Order blocks also can be utilized to help you enter the trade, but those are not prerequisites. The key is 50 to 62% retrace ideally, but it can also retrace less, 38%. It can retrace more into that's not a very good 8. It can let me retrace and do that. It can also retrace 38%. You can also retrace 72% or higher, 79%. So the 50 to 62% is the ideal area. That's why. Okay. And then we're looking for price to go down to from the number 3 point. So we call that our 1, 2, 3. That's our 1. This is our 2. Our number 3 point would be the interior here. So that's our number 3 point. We're looking for price to go down to a 1.618 target, or a 1.414 target, or a 1.272 target. Typically, so we have 3 separate targets that we're looking to go to. Ideally, at the beginning of the 1, 2, 3, if there's a previous sweep before the high, before we get our 1, that's a bonus as well. All right, so now you can see right away that we're getting the 1, 2, 3 there. We get the drop, we get this chop. And now we'd be looking for a new 1, 2, 3 at this point to come down again. So how can we get into this trade? I like to get in early, but I would be in on a fractal, which would be right there. A fractal is just a 3-candle formation, 3-candle formation, 3-candle formation. You can get in on a fractal. It can be fractal low, fractal high, but the fractal is also a 1, 2, 3, but it's on a lower time frame. So it would be in the seconds chart that you'd be able to see that. You wouldn't be able to see that on the 1 minute time frame, but it is the same 1, 2, 3 at that level. So I like to get in on that fractal as soon as price breaks the high candle. In this case, I would take that trade to the downside, to targeting this low. So if you've missed that entry, then you have to look for a retrace of price back into 50 to 62% before you can continue down. So will that occur? Sometimes it does occur, sometimes it does not. So I mean, it'll always happen. You'll always get a 1, 2, 3, but it can be very quick. It can be just a very short retrace, and then off we go. So let's see if they will retrace. They might not at this point, but we do have a inverted gap here, so that's a possibility that they can come back to an inverted gap. An inverted gap is a gap that was going up, bullish gap, and now it turns into an inversion gap when price comes back to touch it and acts as resistance, just like that. So that would be a sell at that point to come back down. So I would sell it right there. So I wasn't expecting that big move back up there, but there we go. That's what we're looking for. That 1, 2, 3 like that, and then a drop. So it doesn't mean that it's going to happen. I could be wrong, and they could continue going up at this point, because we do have a 1, 2, 3 this way. So we could go this way, but because of the 1, 2, 3 at this level, I'm expecting them to come back down one more time to take the low. There's no guarantee that's going to happen, but that would be the expectation. So my stop then would be above the high or thereabouts. So I can decide where I want to put it. I'll put it above the high because it's not even that much of a risk. So again, I could get stopped out. They could decide to take this high again. I don't expect them to do that, but anything's possible in the markets, right? So
I have a schematic of 1, 2, 3 if you want to show it sometime.
Sure, you can post it for me there. I can certainly show it, Peter.
Okay.
And they've taken me out. So you see, that was an unexpected move, but they can do that because they can, because they have the funds to do that. They can push price up, take you out, and then take off right down as you expect. So that's a nasty. So the rule for the 1, 2, 3 is that if your number 1 point is broken by number 3 point, then that disqualifies your 1, 2, 3. So it's no longer a 1, 2, 3. So we have to look for a new 1, 2, 3. So this was a nasty little little move, but I got, you know, you don't expect them to do that, but it's a possibility they can do that. So what it's saying here is that this move up was something like 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then they made a 5. So they've swept this high, and they can do it again. And so I'd be then looking for a new 1, 2, 3 again to come back down. So it's just the same thing over, but definitely wasn't expecting that takeout there. So
I posted the schematic in the chat.
okay, thanks, Peter. Let's see what we've got. I don't see anything in the chat, so
I just put it there.
yeah, not seeing anything. Anybody see it?
No.
I don't
Press
see-
enter on that chat.
Make sure you.
It's in the
Press
chat
enter
box. I just posted it. Oh, wait a minute.
There you go.
Yeah, it should be there now.
It's
Oh,
there
it is.
now.
Okay, so look at what they're doing. So they're going higher and higher. So my expectation that we would do this, and this has been destroyed because they're not giving us that fifth wave. So by them breaking this high, it either signifies that we have a new 1, 2, 3 bottom and we're heading to the upside. That would be the one scenario, or we were still doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move, and we'll be coming back down still to take out this low and this low. So which one is it? So my expectation again was that we would do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but they're not doing that. So I have to be careful now and wait to see what transpires here now. So they've come back up into this gap on this side, but this is really not in play at this point from that side. But there's nothing on this side here for them to have come back to. I'll get rid of this gap. So we're not getting any gaps in here. So this might be as high as they go currently. I'm going to go to the 5-minute, take a look at it. So on the 5-minute time frame, you can see there isn't really anything here for them to come back to. So there is a high that they could take out. So the high hides stops. So people have their stops above these highs. It's another high here. People hide their stops here. And there's also a big gap here. So the gap is partially being mitigated. So I'm going to draw the gap just above the high like that, because that's what's left of the gap now. So it's possible that they could be gunning for that. Go back to the 1 minute. You see they've taken this guy out, these guys out now. So the only
Taking out that next level.
yeah, the only liquidity level left is this high here.
Yeah.
So essentially they're sweeping liquidity. So these guys are gone, and then only the liquidity left is here, and the liquidity below here and here. So because they've violated what I was looking for at this point, it's I have to rethink what they're going to be doing next. So it's always best to go up higher than to look at it, because you might be totally looking at it in the wrong way by staying down on the 1 minute time frame. So I'm going to go up a little higher on the 15. So based on the 15, I've got a 1, 2, 3 here. We dropped. We went back up. We've got a 1, 2, 3 in here. Chop, 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 drop. So I'm still expecting them to come down and take out this low. So they're playing games, but that's what they do. So they could come right back up into this gap before we get that next drop. So based on the 5 minute time frame, we've got this becomes a 1, 2, and then I get this drop down to this level.
Looks
Inside
like
of
they're
that
going
1,
to
2,
take
3.
out that second high
Yeah, it looks like they want to come into this gap. That point. So looking at it from the 5 minute again, you can see in here we have a 1-2, so we could certainly come up into this gap easily. So on the 1 minute time frame, again, this whole thing looks like a 1-2, but that's a very large 1-2. That would, if this is that size, then that would take us up and chop and another move up still. So that would be quite the move. Or otherwise, it's going to be like something like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we just go to 5 and then come back. That means they could just take that high. So a couple of scenarios here. Which one will it be? I want to post.
They're almost into that gap right now.
This is what Peter just gave us to show you what a 1, 2, 3, what we're talking about with a 1, 2, 3. This is what it looks like. And generally 1, 2, 3 looks like a W when we're at the bottom. So there we go. And we're heading that way. And then it's an M when we're at the top. And so prices drop from a high. Prices come up from a low. We get a 1, 2, 3, and we drop. So in this area, again, the retrace we're looking for number 2 to 3. 2 to 3 is in around the 50 to 62% area. That's the sweet spot area, 50 to 62% retrace area. And again, it's an area, and it can be we can use quite a lot of precision, because in this leg from 2 to 3, we're looking for a structure. So if we can identify the structure, we can know with quite a lot of precision where price will drop to. So we have our move up to our number 2 point from our number 1 point, and it creates that structure. And then we can have a good idea that price will come back, into that sweet spot area and continue up. So it's very powerful once you understand what's going on. And typically when we're coming down, it's the same thing. We have a structure, and we want to see the low taken. That's called the sweep, and then we want to see price move back up. So yeah, that's it. Thank you, Peter. Very nicely done there.
You're welcome.
So that's the 1, 2, 3 in a nutshell. There's a lot to it, of course, a lot more to it than just a quick overview, but all right. So again, my expectation that we do this move, get a 1, 2 here and drop, was shattered when they took the high, and that's okay. You're not. I'm not going to be correct every time I trade. I try to be correct every time I trade, but it's very difficult. It's the goal every time I trade to win, but realistically, it's almost an impossibility. My record for consecutive wins in a trading live is 43 wins in a row. So that's, I thought that was pretty good. I was on quite the roll. But I've had yesterday, for instance, I had I think 6 or 7 losses in a row. But they were tiny losses, and I was able to make them all back in one positive trade. So, this is the nature of the game. You can win, you can lose, but the key is to make sure that if you do lose, your losses are small. That's the bottom line.
Are your chances better if you are looking for 1, 2, 3s and then the impulse wave, as opposed to trying to engineer your way through wave 4?
Indeed.
Very, very true.
And this was a typical of a 4th wave here. So it looked pretty good at that move. So at this point, we certainly are looking for another drop. But they said, no, we're not going to do that. Now, I wonder if S&P did break this low. Let's just see. Nope. Did the Dow break that low? Nope. Okay. So they're all doing the same thing. So the Dow did not break this high. Notice. Dow did not take out that high. The NASDAQ took out that high. The S&P took out that high. Actually, S&P took out both highs. So that's the difference between the NAS and the S&P. S&P took out both highs. NAS not able to take out both highs. Quite interesting. The futures did not take out both highs. So are we done at this point then? Maybe not. And the reason why is because we have a 1, 2, 3 here. So if we have a 1, 2, 3 here, and we get this move, we're expecting a chop and then a continuation. So we're expecting them to take this high out. So if I draw the structure, then I would just draw it as 5 lines. Fourth line, fifth line. So I'm expecting them to take out this high and this high. But we could chop in here first before we get that move. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's making quite the run. So that was a beautiful setup on Bitcoin there. We get this nice, there's our 1, 2, 3. There's our sweep. And off we go. And so we've been watching Bitcoin and could have possibly caught that move to the upside there. So Bitcoin was kind of telling us that we were going up, not down. Well, that's interesting there. So we would expect a continuation for Bitcoin to the upside to take out the highs. Let's see where Bitcoin started. Okay, so there's our low. All right, so now we have an idea of where we are on Bitcoin. 5 minute. So we had this very choppy move here, back down. There's a sweep in here. Let me draw my lines a little better. We had a sweep here, move back up, sweep here, drop back in, entry here, drop back in, entry here, drop back in, entry here, go. So you could enter once, twice, 3 times, and then you catch the move out to take out all the previous highs. Very choppy in here, eh? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So pretty choppy. You get the sweep and inside 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So quite a choppy movement up, but they eventually came back, took out the middle guys. Anybody who went long in here got taken out, and they turned it around to the upside. Once we get the sweep here, then we look for a retrace back into 50 to 62%. Let's see how close we are. This looks like about perfect 50 to 62% retrace on that move. Let me just calculate it here. I think I do it from this way. And we are dead on. There is our 50%. There's our 62%. And we're right in the sweet spot of that. So that's what I'm referring to. We get a sweep, move up, a sweep at the top, drop back in, and there could also be a gap in here on this leg, or an inverted gap from on the other side that comes into play. So if I mark this up, I'm going to make this a little bigger. So we're right in the sweet spot, 50 to 62%. So that would be our, looking at this, our first check mark. We want to have at least 3 check marks. So we get a sweep, so that's a check mark of the lows. We get a move up, and we get a sweep at the top. That's our another check mark. So now we have our 1, we have our 2, and then we get a pullback into 50 to 62%. This is right in here. That's another check mark. This would be a number 3 point. So we have 3 check marks. So that's enough for us to take the trade. For the 4th check mark is the 50 to 62%. So that's our a go, essentially. We don't need anything else. We don't need any gaps. We don't need anything else. But if you want it to be more certain confirmation, you can look for a gap. There's a gap right there. So that would constitute another, if I can pinpoint that top there. It's playing games with me. There we go. There's a gap right there. It's a regular gap. And then there's also an inverted gap. So there's an inverted gap right here. And that one works as well. Come on. It's giving me hard times. There we go. So you can see the inverted gap, we came right into it. We also have a fractal. At that point, we also have a fractal. So I would be entering on the fractal right there in that entry. So at the midpoint of the bullish gap was a fractal break, and that would be an entry. You could also enter at the bottom of the fractal, but you're taking a risk entering at that point because you have no confirmation of anything. They could still come down further if, you know, for all intents and purposes. So that's our 1, 2, 3 in a nutshell right there. It's beautiful. That's a beautiful setup. So that's giving away the farm, but it's all good because you have to trade it and you have to see it. You have to be able to trade it. Seeing it like this and so forth, and getting in is, that's one, you know, that's the whole part of the game. You have to be able to be confident that you're there and you can jump in and take the trade and so forth. So, but that's our 1, 2, 3 system. Could call it a method as well, right? It's a method. 1, 2, 3 method, as ICT calls it. They have all these different methods. That he has names for.
I think the challenge is to find 1, 2, 3s in wave 4.
That is the challenge, and that's the challenge that when you're learning, it's not a good one to get into. You know, when you're first starting out, you take the easy ones. All right, so that is Bitcoin looking pretty good there on that move. So no trade in Bitcoin currently because it's gone. Okay, S&P. So now we see they've taken that high now. Okay, so let's go back down to the 1 minute. So our structure has been completed quickly here. We didn't get much of a gyration in here like I was expecting. They just went right straight up, took out the high, and took out the previous high on the left, which was that high there. So they've taken that out. We were into the gap, almost to the middle of it. So we could now wait patiently for a breach of this low. That would be a change of character, retrace back in, drop. So that's what we would be looking for at this point. For an entry here. Let's see if we can get that. So what are my 4-hour candles saying right now? Let's go up to the 15. So I've got my 3 4-hour candles here, and they're all very weak. So the third candle closed. So looking at the 4 hour, it gives us an idea of what's going on at this level. So our 4 hour candle opened at this level here, and then went up in a wick. So it gave us a little bit of a wick, and then down we came. It then closed right here. And then we opened on the new candle. We had a little bit of a wick, and then down we came. So we opened something like that. We had a small wick, and then straight down we came into closure in this area.
4 hour candle.
We went all the way down to the bottom first, and then we came back up and closed here. So the current candle opened right here, didn't give us any wick whatsoever. So that candle opened at 10 or at 1 o'clock Eastern, right there. Didn't give us much of a wick. I just gave it a little nudge of a wick, and then straight down we come. Now we're retracing a little bit. So we've taken out the previous candle's low right here, and we're now retracing a little bit and getting a tail forming. But it still looks like we have another drop to come. That's why I'm still expecting that drop here. I could be wrong. We have swept. So this sweep is sufficient for them to turn this around and continue back up. However, I do have a 1, 2, 3 here, so I have to look at it as one more drop. Not a move up yet, but one more drop to take out the lows is possible. Okay, so that's why I'm looking for a turnaround back to the downside. So it still looks like we have more upside to come here. So if they're still gunning, maybe to take out the high one more time. There are no gaps here. There's an inverted gap, actually. So there's an inverted gap right here. So that might be enough to hold them back from taking this high, but we can't be positive about that. So I'm still looking for them to take out this low. This would be the best confirmation for them to take this low at this point. So it looks like they want to take the high one more time. If they don't take the high, then taking this low would be the next opportunity for an entry. So I'm just doing it I'm kind of doing it the logical way, the proper way to do it. If you were playing, you want to be patient and wait for the setups. I tend to want to jump in early because I've been doing this a long time. I want to jump in early and get better entries rather than waiting for the entire move and so forth. But once you get confident, you can certainly do that as well.
Let's take a look at my 4 hour candles. I put it in the chat. They're so different from yours. I'm an hour into the next candle. Well, almost close the hour.
Your last 3 candles. Yeah, my current candle is very large, right?
Yeah, it's like my prior candle.
Mm-hmm. Well, the new candle just opened, so.
Well, it's almost an hour on the new candle already.
Oh, it is too. Okay. So we're into the macro and now looking to go into algo time here.
Yeah, right.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. All right. So we're almost taking out the high. So very interesting move here. All right, so now we'd be looking for them to break this low on the way back down. So the inversion gap did not hold. So we're going right through that gap. So it's looking
Kind of interesting, yeah.
quite interesting here now. Let's go back to the 5. So we're going up quite a ways up. There's an order block up here. So that's the last line of defense, this order block. So if we go past this area, then that's pointing to no way we're coming back down here, essentially. So this move could have been that could have been it, and that's it. And then we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're done. And so we could expect a move back down, but not one to break the low. We could expect a move back down 50%, say, and back maybe into this gap, and then a bounce to continue from here, at least in the short term, in any case. So the gap is holding. We've just wicked through it.
Yeah. It wicked into the order block.
So this is a very interesting move here because I've got a nice 1, 2, 3 bottom, and we get this move up into a 4th wave. Inside we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we get the 5th leg.
Yeah, we
Breaking
even
that high. We should be turning around.
have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the 5-hour chart. 5-minute chart, I mean.
On the 5-minute is easier to see.
It's harder to see it there, though.
A little easier because on the 1 minute it's much more
Yeah.
broken, but we seem to be holding in that gap there. So we could be turning around imminently here. So there's a fractal that I would take normally. Actually, it's a weird fractal because this is our low, this is our other low. So breach of that low, yeah, would be an entry, but I'll wait. I'm going to wait at this out. I'll wait for a breach of the low. Wait for a 1, 2, 3. Wait for a retrace to come back.
It's not finished at this level. I mean,
Still going.
we could get a couple more pushes up into that order block.
$15, $30, hourly, 4 hour. So I want to see where we are, and we're not near anything that. This is the closest thing we have. Actually, there is a gap right here but it's been mitigated already, so it doesn't really count because we've gone through it. But I'll put it there just for a reference. There's a gap right here.
We have to remember
I
we're
think I put it too high.
still at high volatility.
Yeah, so that one's been taken out, so it doesn't really count as a gap anymore because it's been mitigated. All right, so right there, so we've gone through that, and the only thing left is this low here for us to take. This order block as well. So will they push down to take that low is the question here. That's what I would expect them to do. I'm looking for a continuation down, but they're making it a little difficult here. So we're still holding in that gap on the 5-minute. You can see it's still holding. We only have wicks there. So this could be our turning point back down. This is a typical sell for me right there. I would sell, stop above. So my risk becomes very small at this point. So that's why I like these sells at this point, because if I sell on a fractal break, my risk is very low to the high. So I don't have to wait for this move all the way down to break this low and then a retrace back up, which might not even happen. It can just do it very quickly and continue down without you. So this kind of entry is super. But I'll just be patient here and wait this out and see what happens here. Okay, so we've got an inverted gap here. It hasn't been mitigated. So I'm marking that because price can utilize these inverted gaps. We also have the regular gap right there as well. Bitcoin's taken a little bit of a lull. So it could also be looking to come back down. But it looks like it still has another push to come. From this level, we should push up one more time, take out these highs. Now we expect that. So there's highs here that could be taken as well, and that looks like a likely scenario for Bitcoin to take those highs first before it turns back down. On the 1 minute, could look for a breach of these lows and then a turnaround 1, 2, 3 to continue up one more time. Something like that. So we're getting that big drop here. So like I said, this entry here is beautiful because it's the ideal entry because you get very limited risk. Let me draw that again. You get very limited risk. That's terrible. Let's try that again. Yeah. So your risk is very small. Stop above entry, and you can right away start making profits. And when you get down here, you can take your profits, some of the profits off, or take a partial and wait for price to push back up again. You could jump in and add some more to your kitty, as it were, to continue down. So if you wait for this entire move, nothing wrong with that, of course. Do that, come back in. So we're looking to get in here, but now your risk is higher because you can see where if you put your stop way up there, your risk becomes much higher then. So that's why I love the fractal entry, but you have to be pretty confident that you're at a top, something over to the left, you're at a previous high, previous fractal high, or you're in a gap of some kind, or at an order block, something like that, in order to give you that confidence that yes, this is a top. If you're not sure about that, these fractals occur all over the place. So you have to be at the right spot. Right? The fractals are occurring all the time. So that's why we call it our 1, 2, 3, and we love the 1, 2, 3 because 1, 2, 3s occur at every turn. There's a 1, 2, 3. Every time the market turns, there's a 1, 2, 3. But it doesn't mean that it's a playable 1, 2, 3. So I'd like to see them take this low first, and then retrace. If they don't take the low first, it is a possibility that they could go back up and take the high again. So it's nice to see them take the low, close below the low ideally, and then give us a retrace. This is not a guarantee that they'll take the low. They can go before the low and come back and still drop it. But probability, and this is the probability game, probability is higher if they do go below the low, and especially if they close below the low, that we would get, if we get a closure, we would more likely come back into a gap. The first gap is here, and you could take that to the downside. They don't have to come back up to the second gap at all. So we're getting that breach of the low. We have a closure below the low, so that's a good sign. So now we were looking for a retrace. There are two gaps now, one here, and three gaps actually, the third. I think we're in the algo now, George.
Yeah.
It's algo time. We're after the hour of 2 o'clock.
That might just take us down, really.
So we could be ready for a continuation down here. So I'm looking for that retrace now.
Well, you might not get it if we're really in into an algo.
We might not, but we have to expect it. That's the worst thing, is when you wait patiently for this move, looking for that retrace, and they just drop it without even going up.
This is a tough game to play if you don't have patience.
If you're not patient, you'll become a patient, George.
That's for sure.
That sounds like a line a doctor would say, George. So I guess we are doctors then, eh?
That's why they call you Dr. Lennox.
Sir Dr. Lennox.
That's better.
Looking for that retrace still.
Well, if it doesn't, you have a much better chance of the algo going to its normal completion, which will be a heck of a lot of handles.
If they continue down without us, that's a lesson in why it's the fractal is so powerful. And even at this point here, that's even a valid entry. That's a 1, 2, 3 at that point as well. But I'm looking for the entire move to still come back up into this gap here.
What's the target on this one? Which one are you shooting for?
Target would be the low.
What number do you have there? Because you're on the future.
That would be 17,649.74.
That's interesting.
So they're still, you see, they're just going down without us. That is got to be the worst thing to see. But we could still get a bounce, so we don't give up hope. Sometimes they do this to entice the sellers. A lot of guys who like breakouts, they'll jump in after these lows are taken and jump in, and then they still come back up. and take them out and then drop. So this would be probably the fractal or the gap that I would be looking for them to come back up to. If they do decide to come back. Bitcoin's doing the same drop. So we're looking for a retrace on Bitcoin as well. So they're saying basically that they're done on Bitcoin because we have our structure looks like it's intact. We did not break this high. We get a nice clean 1, 2, 3. Break this low. Looking for a retrace here. They did do a small one, so that could be it. And then we could be heading straight down, or we could still get another one coming back up, which is what I'd be like to see happen, but that doesn't mean that it's going to. Where would they come back to? There aren't any gaps up here. So order blocks.
You're on Bitcoin there.
Yeah. It's a similar pattern as the NAS, essentially. So you can see how far down they've come. So the likelihood now, it becomes less and less likely to come back. So that's what happens when you don't take the trade up in the sweet spot areas. So this is just a good edification here. So if I show the top here on the 15-second chart, you'll see what I'm referring to for entries. So here we are on the 15 seconds chart. That's what it looks like. You just move this over a little bit to the right. Clear that, put the chart back up again. Okay, so on the 15 seconds chart, this area is right here. So they sweep the high. You can see that they took out that high right there. And now we would look for them to sweep this low and then give us a retrace, and they did it there, and that was the entry. So that's right in that sweet spot right there where the gap was. That would be an entry. But at an earlier point, I'll make this bigger, is they sweep here, they drop right away, come back in. That's where I like to take the trade right there on that. That's my entry. So that would have been my entry right there, rather than even waiting for them to break this low and then come back in again. They didn't even come back very far. They just came quickly in. There's a gap there. They came quickly to that gap, which is this one. And then just off they went. So a couple opportunities to get in the same thing at this level. But I wanted to wait for the bigger change of character. This is the real change of character here on the 1 minute, and to see if we could get a retrace back up, but they did not do that. So just to give you an idea of what I see and I'm looking for. So this looks like a pretty good algo right now. We're heading down, we're getting these gaps.
Yeah, I'm liking it. And I'm looking at it on a 5-minute chart too. It really looks beautiful.
There we go. So we got a 1, 2, 3. The drop, they came back up. So the expected move is for them to take out the low. So inside, what I was looking for here was that same move, but I thought we would just come back up and drop one more time. But they said no, we're gonna go up first, take everybody out, and then come down. So that gives us our structure, but it's on a bigger scale. This is the structure on a bigger scale. So they expect them to take this low. So inside of that, we have the same structure. So that's how they induce everybody to go the wrong way. By making this big move at the bottom, lots of traders now believe that, okay, it's on its way. We've hit bottom. And so the stops are here, stops are here, stops are here. And then they just come down and take everybody out. So they've taken these guys out. These guys are left, and only these guys are left, right? So that's the game. So if we get in on a 1, 2, 3 here, if we caught this 1, 2, 3 going up, we would be out with profits either in here or up here or even up at the highs. You get out, and then you don't suffer the losses when price comes back against you. No bounces. They're not giving us any bounces. Possibility of a bounce back to this gap, not happening. Bounce into this gap did happen, but would like to see a deeper one, but they're not giving the buyers a chance or the sellers a chance to even get in anymore. So they're heading for that low.
I posted something on constructing the candle if you want to use it sometime.
Again, I don't see anything, Peter.
Oh, okay.
So you need to press enter.
It's there now.
There you go.
You don't have to use it. It's just there.
Okay. All right, so we swept the lows here. So only one low left to take. Will they take that low? So,
And that low is what number? On yours?
619.24.
619?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So we've swept the previous low over here. So
Yeah.
it is a possibility that they might not take this low, but we would expect them to take the low because of our 1, 2, 3 at this point. So that would give us our structure. However, there's no guarantee that they'll take that low.
Right.
So I can watch this using S&P to see how they react, and the Dow to see how they react at that point. Dow has already taken that low, so we would expect the NAS and the S&P to follow suit. But again, no guarantee because we could get divergence, right? We can get divergence at this point. The Dow is diverting right now. There is divergence based because the Dow has broken that low with the S&P and the NAS currently. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, so it looks like they're going to take the low. Looks like that's what we would expect them to do. All right, so maybe no divergence happening here, eh?
It got my limit. I wasn't at the low. I was
So we're going right through. Looks like we're gonna go through very close to it and go back down to the 1 minute. Draw a line here. When we break it, so that was a super missed opportunity there, not jumping in early into that trade, but that's okay, just to as an edification to show you what you can do if you, sometimes patience really pays. You get that nice move, you get that nice retrace, and then you get the drop. But in this case, they just dropped it straight. They still haven't taken the low yet, but I still would expect them to take it.
Well, I got a couple hundred handles out of it, so I'm not complaining.
Let's look at how S&P is reacting. S&P is taking the low already, so you can see the difference between the NAS and the S&P. S&P is already taken the low, so we could possibly get divergence here. The NAS has not taken that low, so the NAS, I'm looking at the futures on the NAS and the NAS so the Dow has taken the low. The NASDAQ has not taken the low as yet. S&P has taken the low. So still waiting for NASDAQ to take the low. It's a slow train. How's everybody doing?
Well, I'm out of my trade now. I've ended up the day with 525 handles.
Wow, George, so you're off to the bank.
Well, I had one bad day, and there's which.
Well, you've made up for that. 525 handles, that's a lot. There's NAS taking the low now, so they're all broken the low.
Yeah.
As we expected. That's a lovely. Okay, so let's look at it on the 5. So there we go. So where are they going to? Now is the question, right? So we can't see anything on the 15, the 30, the hourly, the 4-hour, the daily.
To go up to the daily. I mean, the next
Wow.
lower
Even on the
spot,
daily, you're hard pressed.
362 roughly.
So it's the weekly. It's the weekly that gives us
Yeah.
our destination, and our destination is pointing to this low at that point right there. So right now, that's a likely place they're heading to, because this was no good. So that's the likely destination for them to go and sweep that low that was on August 5th of last year. So it's quite a drop down from our highs to come back down to August low. Amazing. So I was not really expecting that, because I was hoping, for everybody's sake, that the markets would not break through this level, and that we would maybe bounce from here, but not to be. So they've taken all that out. And you remember I was calling for a move down, but I didn't know what would cause this move down. We know that it's Mr. Trump, and his tariffs have caused the markets to tank. And yeah, so that's where it looks like likely target is that low there. So that's quite a drop. So how far down are we from there on the 1 minute? Quite a ways. We're at
We're quite a ways down.
we're at 600 right now, and you got to go down to 350.
Yeah.
So we're about 300 handles away, thereabouts. So further down's still to come.
Today's bar is 560 some handles. I guess I milked it. Wait a minute.
Can we go down another 300 handles before the end of the day?
Pardon?
Can we go down another 300 handles before we close? That would be
I
quite
think it has to only go down 240 or something like that from the current low.
They're even gapping down. Wow.
No, today was today's daily. It has a high to low of 1,128 handles. That's a lot of moving. Are you still in your trade?
No, not in anything right now.
Neither am I.
So very slow motion right now. But a slow grind down.
Oh, it's still in a down mode. That's a beautiful algo.
It's a great algo today.
5-minute algo looks so super.
And we're dropping again more. So I asked the question, can we make 300 handles before the close down? It's possible. We're at 5, let's say call it 570, and we have to go down to 350.
Yeah, my low is 362 roughly, but that's close enough. And the next low after that is 17,066.
Do you see a 1, 2, 3 on the 1 minute Tesla, Lennox?
We haven't, well, there's Tesla.
I haven't looked at Tesla in a while.
1, 2, 3 top.
At the bottom there.
1, 2, 3 bottom.
1, 2, 3 top.
Well, it's all going to be 1, 2, 3 tops because we're on our way down. So 1, 2, 3 tops, but yeah, there's kind of one here, one here. Yeah, it's a bit choppy and messy.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's tough to get in.
We're still in wave 4.
Yeah, the ideal was to get in up here in this area here. Here's our sweep. Same thing as the NAS. We get the first pullback there. That would have been a nice sell. Wait for here, and then they don't pull back very much again, and then they just drop it. So we're really looking for that bounce here, but they didn't do it.
Okay.
Bitcoin is chopping up in a fourth wave. I'm looking to try to sell to get through it, but
Yeah,
they're
well,
playing a lot of games.
that's what I was expecting should happen. It's not that much so far. But that just means that the macro looks like it's over with. Wait, that's a 2-minute chart. The 5. Yeah, I think that's signaling the end of the macro. Tesla had a nice ride down today, didn't it, Peter?
Sorry?
Tesla had a beautiful ride down today.
Oh, yeah, I caught that, yeah. No, oh, a nice 1, 2, 3 top at the open.
Oh yeah, I guess I'm looking at I'm on a 1 minute, so I'm only looking at this afternoon from about 2 o'clock.
Yeah, well, Lennox doesn't use MACD, but if you look, George, you're a MACD fan. If you look at the 1 minute MACD, there was divergence. Like price, Lennox showed this, the 1, 2, 3 top, but there was divergence there where price cycled higher. MACD waved at the same level, so that was a good short right there. Then
Yeah,
the 5 EMA punched down through the 21 EMA. So that was a good short right there.
yeah, I'm showing the same thing, but with CCI, but I got the same divergence that you're talking about.
And you also get divergence on RSI. If you plot RSI, RSI cycled lower at the point where the 5 EMA punched down through the 21 EMA. That was a good short, worth about 5 points down.
That's 15 points for you.
Yeah, times 300 shares, yeah.
I'm selling a slew of Bitcoin here. I'm trying to get the drop through. I'm using a different Bitcoin broker. Just playing it here, seeing if I can catch that drop. So they should come through and take out all these buyers here. I was in some drawdown. They sweep the highs. I'm looking for them to come through and take out all these lows. Let's move down to a fractal entry right there.
You see where North Korea hacked one of the big miners of crypto,
Yeah,
big brokers.
good way to get free money.
Oh, they got a ton. I think it was something like 40 million.
If you can do it, and get away with it.
They used a variety of techniques to get the password, for your crypto, the back door. They found a back door.
So we're still a ways away from that low. We still think that they would come down and take that low before we start to look for it, play back to the upside. So I'm they're turning here a little bit. Is it just a small blip and then a continuation? I mean, we could come back up and we could still fall, or is this the bottom? And they're not going to take that low, down to the left. I mean, that's a possibility. So our structure is showing, yeah, that okay, we could be done at this point, and we could certainly turn around and go back up, but it might be short-lived, and we could still come back down again. So care has to be taken here about going along, and we're catching a falling knife, right? So you have to be really cognizant of that. So these retraces are more likely sell opportunities than buy opportunities. So there's our gap there. Will they come and touch in and then drop?
It looks like I was right that they finished the macro on MNQ.
So they did go a little higher up on Bitcoin. Swept, went way up. Swept these guys as well. Came up into an order block up here. And now, so a little higher to drop. Still looking for them to come down. That would give us our structure from this level. So that's the 3 chop, 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 drop. Looking for that big drop here in Bitcoin to take all these lows out. Remember, I was calling for a 75,000 Bitcoin. And the reason for that is because if I go up to the 4-hour, we are in a similar thing I just drew here. So something like this, and then drop, chop, 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 chop. One more drop, taking out all these lows. That could drop us down below 80,000, down into 75,000 area. So if I go to the daily, you can see it even better. So there it is from this level, that the chop. So we're looking for a drop to take out this low. So we've got a ways to do that. That's a possibility because there's still weakness in the indices. So we could see Bitcoin coming down below 80,000 and even down to 75,000 area. That's a possibility. It's a nasty drop, but a little pain before we turn around again and move back up. It looks like that's in the cards. We're looking for them to come down. So already I have a 1, 2, 3. Looking for them to break that low and continue down. So then that's not like they looks like they might go back up and take out these highs and go in here and before they drop it, but they could also just continue straight down. Let's see what they do here. Bitcoin making its way down. Very hard to catch. Oh. Okay, so that again, possible sell here. I'm not liking it that much. I know I'm expecting them to come down and take that low, but could have been an entry here, to come down. But I like Bitcoin better, so I'm playing Bitcoin instead. So it would be.
That is looking like a sell, but it hasn't.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm in Bitcoin to the downside. Doing a lot better. I like the setup on Bitcoin a lot better, so I'm in making some nice profits. I've already taken some substantial profits off and left some. So I'm going to take a bit more profit as we come down to the lows. Leave the last bit to go. So nice profits here on Bitcoin. I'll partially close. See if I can get to 6,000 here. Maybe not. Okay, pretty close, but and then I'll bring my stop into positive. That way there's no losing on this trade whatsoever. Don't want to bring it in too tight because they can still come up and take you out at this high. But so where are they going on Bitcoin is the question. They haven't taken all the lows yet, so I'll expect them to take the lows. But I'm still looking at Bitcoin as a possible, this move could still do this, and they can still come back up and take out the highs and this high. So I have to be careful. This might just be a quick sweep, and then they could turn around and go back up. We are in an order block, or sorry, a gap. I should say a gap. So the gap would be something like that. So that might be as far as they go into this gap, and then we're back to the upside again. So I have to be careful here. So once we break that low, these lows here, I might look to exit. So I could do a TP into midpoint of the gap, something like that. That would be reasonable. Let's make it 4,000. Let's see if that works. So liking that a little better than the S&P, although it's similar. But you can see the S&P is very slow. So it's still looking for them to take that low. But yeah, so that was playable, but a very slow movement. The Dow has not taken that low as yet. S&P is still high. Okay. All right, and I just got stopped out of Bitcoin. So yeah, that's the thing about moving your stop down. You move it down too tight, they can take you out just like that. So
Yeah.
that's okay though. Made some nice profits on it, so it's all good. Still expecting them to come down and take out the lows. And okay, so that wasn't so bad an idea to move my stop down and protect the profits, because had I kept my stop above, I still would have been taken out. So it didn't really matter where I left my stop in this case. I'd have to leave it way up here, and that, you know, there's still no guarantee that they can't just go up there and take you out and then still come down. So whenever you get profits, take them. You can always get back in again and trade. So that's the move there. So they basically come into this gap and are sweeping everybody out that was selling. And that's it. That's all they wrote. So we should continue down again and take out all the lows again. So everybody's swept now except for these guys here and these guys. Anybody who bought here, I don't know why you'd buy there though, because these lows are definitely looking to get taken out. But there might be buyers there, you know. So this again, we get a fractal, but this fractal, you see, you would be not liking this as a fractal to sell, because your entry would have to be here, and that's your risk becomes very large, and that risk is too wide. So I like fractals that are smaller, like that, like this one, because when you break here, your risk is not as huge. It's a more reasonable risk, half the risk of this one. So Bitcoin's always coming out in the crunch whenever the indices fail to deliver. So nice profits on Bitcoin.
3 o'clock hour now. NAS is looking like it still wants to go down, but I don't know how far down it's going to go.
Yeah, well, we're just looking right now for it to take out this low, and then after that, I don't know how much further down it will go, but we do have that low on the weekly or weekly, I think it is.
Oh, the
that
weekly
that we're looking to get to. So
that won't be this week, I don't think.
Well, they might do it at the macro today, George. You know, that could be the final thrust down.
So I guess so.
Yeah, that could be the play.
We've had like what I say, around almost 1,100 handles down already.
Yeah, we're not that far away right now. Still, you know, when you really think about it, we're at 550, 350. We're only 200 handles away. So anything's possible. 200 handles.
Will be without me.
I'm going to look at Bitcoin again. I use two different Bitcoins. One is Coinbase Bitcoin, and one is Oanda Bitcoin. And
Okay, but neither of them are futures.
No, just but they both tend to be about the same, so which is good. They're both acting the same way, so it's kind of nice to see that.
That gives you nice flexibility then.
Yeah. I trade in Axie Live. I trade the Bitcoin. I tend to follow along. Still looking for more drop here. So this fractal looks pretty good now at this point to take the trade again in Bitcoin to fall one more time. So if anyone wanted to remember, this is just for educational purposes. We're not expecting or telling anyone to trade. So You do so at your own risk. This is all just for fun and educational purposes. We do trade. I'm trading here in a paper trading account. I trade live as well in my own account. I'm always hacking away, trading 3 different accounts. So again, you do your trades at your own risk. And if you like what you're seeing, give us a like. And if you are so inclined, do subscribe to our channel and come back and learn how to read these charts, because that's what it's all about, reading these charts and being able to see what's going on before things happen. And that's the key to making profits, because if you don't know where you are and you don't know where you're going and you don't know where you're coming from, is that what they say? Hey, if you don't know where you're coming from and you don't know where you are, you can't know where you're going. So you need to know all 3. You need to know where you're coming from. You know, where are you coming from? Where are you? And where are we going?
If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you somewhere.
Yes, this is true. So it's all about reading the charts. And we here at Simple 1 2 3 Trader, we have a simple plan. And it works quite effectively most of the time. So I can see the structure so beautifully. It's just, and I think everybody here can see it clearly as I'm drawing it. This is what they did, and so the expectation would be that they would take these lows. They haven't done it as yet. So does it mean that they will not? No, it means that it's still possible that they can still come down and take those lows, because what I just drew here, that is again what they're doing here, and they're doing a similar thing, so they can still drop it down. It's everything is fractal, so they're going way up. So it was a good thing for me to take my profits off, because that I would have been taken out for negative, for losses, if I hadn't done that in here. So the expectation that they were going to take all these lows right away did not come to fruition. But I took profits just in case they decided not to do that, because they can do that, you see. So now I've got the 1 2 3 here. They're chopping it up here, so I could still expect them to come down and take out these lows now, and then finally these guys here. That's still the expectation. Will it happen? If they break this high, probably not. But if they don't break that high, then probability is high that they should come back down. So that's essentially what I'd be looking at. So they're really making it look like they wanted to break these highs. So will they or will they not break those highs?
Even though you don't recommend trades, I follow what you teach, Lennox, and I do very well.
Okay, that's great. We know it works, right?
Definitely works.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's all about discipline and patience.
Indeed. I can become quite impatient sometimes. I like to jump in early. You saw that yesterday as a great example. Me jumping in, trying to pick those bottoms early. And I kept getting stopped out. But eventually, I did catch it. And it just takes one trade to make all those losses back. And boom. Because we had such a move. Yesterday, after we closed Bitcoin, I was in. And it just rocketed up like crazy. It was just beautiful. So at the macro yesterday, it was just lingering, lagging, and then finally, after 1:15 or 4:15 Eastern, Bitcoin just started to go. So if I go back to yesterday at 4:15, let me just see if I can. Yesterday, that was, well, we're in the wrong date here. Let's go to April 3rd at 16 o'clock. Go. Here we are. So there's Bitcoin. So yesterday when we were just when we were closing, Bitcoin started to go down. So looking for them to clear the low. This is a similar pattern that we see setting up right now. So looking for them to clear that low and then give us a 1, 2, 3 here to go back up to take out all these guys who went short. And that's a beauty. So that's what we're looking for. That's our 1, 2, 3 in a nutshell. And this is like a classic setup and move of it. So this was what happened yesterday at that point. So we were chatting away at the end of the day, and then they swept the highs here, dropped it right down, took everybody out who was buying, came down to the low, then turned it around and started to move up to take everybody out who was selling. That's it. And at this point here, you would expect maybe a bit of a retrace, but they said, no, we're not retracing at all. We're just going. And they never turned back. So this 1, 2, 3 was a beautiful 1, 2, 3 at that point. So that's Bitcoin. This thing just rocks, when it goes. So there we go. They came right up. Did they take that high? They did take the high by a tick. Wow, that is amazing. So does it mean that we're going up then? Possibly, right? But this can be a little trick as well in their sleeves, just to go and take the sellers out. And then they can still come down and take everybody out who bought. So I'm not taking any bait up here at all to go long or short at this point, because it's still a bit testy. Still, I'm more inclined to go short, but they did take that high. I wasn't really expecting them to do that. So what's our pattern like now? We get our 3. So we have our 1, 2 up here. Our 3. Then we have an A and a B and a C and a D and an E. So we think that we would be done here, and then we would just get a 1, 2 to continue down, but they've broken that high. So that violates our structure. So unless I'm counting this incorrectly, it looks like we should likely go in one more time and take that high before we start to come back down again, which gives us a head and shoulders there. So that's a possibility. Otherwise, we're just coming, this is just an ABC, and we're just coming straight down. So we have a gap. I'm going to just keep marking this up. There's a gap here. Let's see if we get an inverted gap out of it. It's our only gap. We have a gap coming down. See if that holds as a gap. This might not become a gap. We'll see. Got a lot of seconds left, so this might not be a gap. It's not. Okay. So will this gap hold us up? To take out the high.
On the 1 minute Tesla, we retraced 50%. We might be trying to put in a 1, 2, 3 top in wave 4.
Yeah, but you're in the last 40 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
no, I'm not. I'm done for the day, but I'm just commenting.
yeah, we're in the 4th wave here. So we're expecting further drops here in the market. So we could see a big drop going into the close on a Friday afternoon with everything, big question marks in the economy and politics and tariffs and all that kind of stuff. We could see a big drop at the end here, and then perhaps something positive will be said over the weekend, and we could see a turnaround, hopefully, next week.
The NAS it's looking like it wanted to go up, but it may have got into the 50% level and got into a gap there, and it may be turning around to go down at this point. It'll do its thing. I do.
We touch the gap up here on the NAS. So it looks like we're just swimming in a fourth wave here.
You upstairs? Okay, I'll come up. Let me come up. I'll be stepping aside for a moment.
All right, George. So it looks like a fourth wave here, guys, that we're in on the NAS. So kind of have like a 1-2 here, drop down, chopping up. So could expect another drop here, perhaps, and then another move back up one more time, and then a final drop. That's something that's a possibility there. So Bitcoin's taking that high. So they bounced off the gap. That's what I would have expected, that they would do that. Take the high again. So where are they going to up here? There really isn't anything up here. So let's see. There is an inverted gap here. So that might be a possible destination. So very interesting movements here. It really looked here that we would just fall through, but they said, nope, we're not doing that yet. So they've gone back up. Why they went back up, this is the only thing that they could go back for is stops up here. So they did that. So why would they go higher? No idea. There's no reason for them to go up there, but so our structure would stay intact if we can fall. If they break through this gap, then and violate this level, then all bets are off, and maybe we're looking at it all wrong. So they are heading up there in a hurry. Again. So I'm looking at this for a sell now, because this should be what we would likely get here. So if we can touch in here, get a fractal, that would be a nice sell to come back down, take out all these lows. NASDAQ is doing the same, so we have a couple of gaps here. So they went into the higher one. So a similar pattern like Bitcoin right now, that we're doing that same type of chop. And thought maybe they might drop once here and then go up, but they just went straight up. So are we done now? Possibility is high that we could be done at this point. There is an order block there as well, so we could take the high one more time, go into the order block, and then come back down. So that's a definite possibility. And again, keeping my eye on Bitcoin. We just stuck in there again into the gap. So that looks like we could be done at this point now. So Tesla should be similar, and it is.
Yes.
So we'll be looking for Tesla to be done at this point as well. What's over here for them to go to? There's a gap there, but it's already been taken, that gap. There's an order block. So this gap has already been mitigated, used. So it's not necessary for them to go back up there, but there's also an order block. So it is possible for them to just slice in here, and then we could get this drop.
Yeah.
And that gives us a nice structure to that level, and then down.
Yep.
And there they go. Can they go higher than that? We wouldn't really expect them to, but it's possible. So everything is setting up for a fall here. So now it's just which one would you play? So Bitcoin gave me a nice fractal. That would have been my entry on Bitcoin. I'm moving around too much here, so I'm not really getting a chance to take advantage of the move. Yeah, too much movement around different instruments. So let's see how the Dow looks at this point. Dow is the same. So the Dow came right into a gap up here as well. So everything's just perfect. This is like a perfect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And then we should drop, take out all these lows. So anybody can get in up here. You can catch this move. So going back to the NASDAQ. Okay, so the real change of character is going to be here, which is, you can see what a long way that is for you to wait for that move. So if you can get in earlier, it's always better. How do we get in earlier? I use the seconds chart to help me get in earlier. I go down to the 10 seconds chart and look for opportunities to enter. So there's an opportunity on the NAS. So I'm going to take that right there and sell it. And so if I'm wrong, my risk is going to be very small, and I'll take that risk every day, anytime, because it's a small risk at that point. So when I look at the seconds chart says sell, 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 because it's giving me the sweep, it's giving me that move down, breaking previous lows, and then retrace back in 50 to 62%, looking for them to drop it down, take out this low, stop above. If I'm wrong, I get stopped out, but it's a small risk. So I would take that trade all the time, every time. There's gaps here. It's the same thing as on the minute, same thing as on the 5, same thing as on 15, the 30, the hourly, 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. It's the same pattern. It's always the same. So now we want to see them take this low. Take that low, come back in, drop. We already have a 1-2. We need another 1-2, and then we drop. We have half an hour to go before the end of the day. We're not dropping it very quickly here. They started to. It looked pretty good there for a moment in time. So I'd like to see them drop it a little faster than this. It looks like they're giving everybody a chance to get in. So they could still take that high out because they've been hanging around in here. So sometimes they do that just to be mean. You have your stop sitting there and they just take you, and then you have to do this all over again. So I'd like to see them, when you get in, you like to see them just go, but it doesn't always work that way. So it looked like they want to take that high one more time for whatever reason.
There's money in their hills.
Yeah, so they're going back up for whatever the reason is, something else up there for them to go back up to. And that's okay. My risk was, again, very small, so I'll take that risk every time. So obviously I'm not correct in this top, and they're going a little higher, sweeping that high. So why did they go higher? Let's see. Let's go up to the 5 minute. Okay, is there anything? So okay, I have a larger 5 minute gap, so should have utilized that. And there's another gap above the 5 minute gap on the 5 minutes, so above that gap. So there are two gaps there that I wasn't paying attention to because I was stuck on the 1 minute. So you have to be aware of the gaps, and there's another one there. So they might be going back to touch that gap there, and that might be it. So let's see. At this level, we've come and touched the 5 minute gap. So there are 1 minute gaps in there inside of that 5 minute gap. So we could be slicing into maybe this middle gap, which is very close to the midpoint of the 5 minute gap. So there's lots of little nuances here, but I think you get the idea. So there are gaps within gaps, and they've gone a little higher. So interesting, this was all just a fourth wave dance. It looked like we were done at that point and we would just come down, but I was wrong, and that's okay. You know, if I could get it right every time, I probably wouldn't even be teaching. I don't think I'd tell everybody if I was getting it right every time.
It's not about being right.
No, it's definitely not about being wrong. So what is it then? What is it, Peter?
Well, I think we all like to think that we're right, but quite frankly, the market dictates, you know.
Yeah, the market's the truth. The market's telling the truth, so you have to figure out.
Sometimes I'll try and convince myself that I'm right, but the market is proving me wrong. So you know, you got to get your head case out of this market.
Yes.
Take your emotions out of this market. No, not about emotion. Not about feeling.
But I went in quite a bit early here because they've gone up quite a ways. So we're right into the midpoint of the 5-minute gap. So I would think that should suffice now, unless I'm totally wrong and they take out the high. And that would be a totally different ballgame if they did that. We don't really want to see them do, if we feel that they're going to come back down, we don't want to see them take out this high. But they did sweep this low, so it is possible that we are indeed going to take that high. So I can't rule that out, but again, this is not what I'm expecting. So, but what I'm expecting and what's happening are two different things in this game. So you have to always be ready for the unexpected and be able to roll with the punches, as it were, because whatever you think is right, like Peter is saying, you're not always right about, right? So the market's always right. So I'm going to try my fractal now. See if we get a fractal at this point. It'll give us a nice down move. So I'm selling right there. I missed Bitcoin by a tad. Bitcoin did a similar. They came and swept that high and dropped really quickly. So this now can become an inverted gap that will propel us back down. So looking for Bitcoin to fall as well. Will I be correct? Again, let me put a stop in just in case. So my stop is just above the high. I don't give them too much above the high, just about it, the spread, that's about it. Just in case I'm wrong. You're not losing that much. So let's see if we can come straight down now. So we're still looking, I'll be looking for them to still break this low or this low.
NASDAQ just came back to VWAP that started at the beginning of the day. Interesting.
All right, let's see if I can make my loss back here. So a beautiful move on Bitcoin as well. They've dropped nicely. So they sweep that high, drop it down, sweep these lows. So we'll retrace back into this inverted gap because there are no gaps on this side. So there are inverted gaps on this side. So if they can come back into that inverted gap, that would be a nice sell. And they did come back into it, and I'm too slow. I'll get another chance at it. Okay, so I'll take a stab at Bitcoin here as well to sell. Let's see if I'm going to be correct. All right, so looking for a drop. There are never ever any guarantees in this game, so looking for them to come back down one more time here. So now I need them to break this low to give us a fighting chance of going south. But this could also just be a chop. We could just chop in here. So there's no guarantee that I'm getting out of here alive. Fourth waves are like a lion's den or a bear's den. You get caught in a lion's den or a bear's den, and you might not get out alive. So that's kind of a good analogy of fourth waves. So fourth waves, we get our first wave, we get the move in the third wave. So this is like Elliott wave theory. And then when you get into the fourth wave, it's very choppy most of the time. And then you finally get that final fifth wave. So this would be your third wave, your fourth wave, and your final fifth wave. So whenever you get caught in here, you're at your own risk because it's very treacherous. They can do all kinds of stuff in here and mess everybody up. That's typical of fourth waves. So this could be one that we're in right now, and because I have a 1, 2, 3 here, so this could be just fourth wave, and I could be going the wrong way, expecting us to come down, and instead it could come down a little bit and then take off again. So it's a very risky play that I'm making in here. There are no guarantees whatsoever. So see S&P. S&P doesn't look like we're in the fourth wave. It looks like we're at the top of a move. So this is more indicative of a better chance of this dropping at this point. But Bitcoin looks a bit sketchy. So I have to be careful with Bitcoin. So I'm going to take profits off on Bitcoin quickly when I get them.
You're on NAS right now, aren't you?
Okay, so Bitcoin's giving me some nice profits. I'm going to take a little bit off just because I can.
The chart you're showing is NAS.
Yeah, so just
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm on my other screen playing
Yep,
Bitcoin.
yep, okay,
So
no problem.
yeah, so I just took off a little bit there on Bitcoin as soon as we got down to that level. I was hoping they'd go through, but they didn't, so I took the profit at that point. Left some on. Now I can move my stop down a little bit to lessen any losses here. Just put it above the gap. And let's see if we can continue down. But again, no guarantee that this is what's going to happen, but that's what I would be expecting to happen, but we shall see here.
A mode to pull things down right now.
So looking for continued drop here on the NAS. I can get rid of this gap.
Is that a 1, 2, 3 top there, Lennox?
On Tesla?
Yeah,
No, on NASDAQ 100.
Yes. So we do indeed have a beautiful 1, 2, 3 there. A little small one there. Another one forming now. So we should start to chop down here.
Yeah, even the 2 minute is showing a good push, getting ready for the downside.
So we got eight minutes before macro time. So the macro I would expect is coming down to take these guys all out. So if I can stay alive, then I can get a ride down. But if I get stopped out, which is possible because they're mean, right? They're wicked. They can just wick up, take me out, and then continue down without any fanfare here, without me in it. So is my stop at a reasonable spot? Maybe. It's way up here, so you wouldn't expect them to go up and take me out, but anything's possible. So I'd like to see them break this low. So they've broken that one, so that's good. Now we need to break this one. If they break this low, then I can certainly move my stop down to this level to minimize my risk. However, by doing that, you could get taken out. So that's the risk you take, right? Ideally, it'd be best if they broke this low first, and then you could move your stop. That would be a better place to move your stop once they break this level, but it's still a ways to go. Bitcoin still has not broken that low yet. So I'd like to see them break that low, but they're really dancing around in here. How's Tesla doing? Tesla's doing the same thing. So see how it looks on the 5. So very precariously balanced here. I'm looking for them to come down, but we're at a precarious situation because there's still a possibility that we could go up, but I'm not expecting them to do that.
The only problem is we have a bullish triangle in an uptrend on the 1 minute chart, so I don't know how that's going to play out.
Yeah, it's a very dicey
That's
situation.
moving higher now. I would be careful in here.
Yeah, it's a dicey situation. We could go either direction at this point, but that's what they want you to be, in a kerfuffle, not know what they're going to do. So they're very good at that, as we well know, right?
For
So
sure.
I have to believe in my analysis and believe the structure. And so right now the structure is saying, yeah, we could be down, we could be, but then it's also saying we could go one more time, take that high. So it is a possibility that we could take
That's
that
the
high
problem.
one more time.
I'm trying to push for the high right now.
And Bitcoin looks like it wants to take me out of my trade already. So Bitcoin came very close to taking me out right there. So I could have put my stop above that high, but I thought, okay, if I put it there and they do spike it and take me out, then, you know, it doesn't really matter. So I put it above the gap, and they tied it. So because they tied it, that means that could be taken out quite easily now, and before they drop it, or they might just come straight down. But let's see what happens again. Still looking for them to take these lows out. So this is right now where we are is the same as what's over here. That same kind of movement we're looking for. So we've got 4 minutes to go. Can we continue going down? Can I stay alive? Looking good here. If we can make it down to this low.
Nice, yeah.
This is hilarious.
I think we finally have a 1, 2, 3 top on the 1 minute Tesla.
Let's see that. Yes, sir. And now we need to break that low. And then the top, the 1, 2, 3 top is confirmed. So until that low is broken, it's not a confirmed 1, 2, 3 top, right? Now it is. So there we go. We're totally confirmed. I can now take a little bit off once we get to that low. I'm going to take a partial. I'll just take a partial just because I can bring my stop down a tad, but not too tight because they can still go back up and take you out. Okay, so that's pretty good. We have 3 minutes before the macro. And still looking for them to drop it down, but we could get a retrace and then a drop. So if we do retrace, we can come back into this gap more than likely. That would be the one. So far so good. And if we look at it on the 5 minute,
Lennox.
that's what I'm expecting, that move back down to take all these guys out. And we've got less than 2 minutes. So we should see a pretty dynamic move down at 10 minutes to the hour. So that's, can still go back up into this gap first before we get that. So if we come back up here, I'll sell some more. Take a stab at adding some more to my kitty for this final drop. Okay, we're in the last minute. We got 50 seconds. Let's see if I can add some more if we come back up into this gap. The reason I'm choosing this gap rather than the first gap is because I want us to be 50%. So if I want 50% of this move. So there's 50%. So ideally we want to come back into this range before we drop. Got about 20 seconds left. Might not even go back up there at all.
Oh, back.
But if they do, I'll take another sell. Got 10 seconds. So we should let's see if the macro is a dynamic one today. Yesterday it was a dud. So let's see if today it's a dynamic one. And here we go.
Yeah, we're really dropping now.
Just suddenly stopped.
Tesla's really dropping down. NASDAQ's going. Bitcoin's going. Yeah, so Bitcoin's doing well. I need to keep going though. So where are my lows? So my targets would be down at the lows here. So I'll go into the middle of this gap. And on the NAS, my target would be the lows there. So going down here and just a little lower than the low. Yeah, that's good. See if we can make that low. So we got a beautiful 1, 2, 3 top. And then we're dropping. So we should get to this level, bounce, and then one more drops to come still after that. So at this point, I can move my stop into positive, just in case anything, they decide to come back for whatever reason. I'll at least make a little something. Do the same thing with Bitcoin. Come down to this area. Just lock in a little bit of profit, just in case. And this is all thanks to ICT for the 10 to 4 macro. That every hour, 10 minutes before the hour, there's a macro. He states
not all this dynamic.
And yeah, the macro runs for 20 minutes, 10 minutes to 10 minutes after the hour. The most dynamic one of the day is the one at 10 to 4 till 10 after 4. And what they're doing in the macro there is that they're seeking liquidity. So if we're up here and they've swept liquidity here, which I didn't expect them to come back up that high, but they did. Because they swept here, I thought that they were done and we would just come from here. That's why I went in here at that time. So that didn't work. I got stopped out, but I'm still confident that they're going to come down. And so they sweep that high, and now we look for the 1, 2, 3 at this point to come down. And that's what they've done. So I put my target below the lows. Usually you should put your targets right at the lows, because there's no guarantee that they'll go through the low and go further. They could just go through a little bit and come and bounce back. But I did that on purpose because there's a gap here and I'm going to the midpoint of the gap. They might even go just to the quarter point of the gap, so there's no guarantee here. So once we get down here and take out these lows, I will watch carefully to see if I need to manually exit. Could do it that way if necessary. So doing pretty good. It would have been nice if I could have got another entry.
Handles out of that move. So even if you stop now, that's a nice little trade.
Yeah, I'll just bring my stop down a little bit more here. You shouldn't be coming back up to these levels, but you never know. So that's there. And then let's see on tech coming down very fast. So I can bring my stop down a little bit more. Don't want to come down too much again. It's very tempting too, but they can take you out pretty quick. I'll go about right midpoint of that gap. Because if they could come back up and touch the gap and then bounce off. But it looks pretty good that we should just continue straight down. So, and we are. So we need to just break this low right here. So that would have been exit at that point, and I would put it just a little lower, and that's
a new low right now. It's a new 5-day low right now.
So there I go. There's my target hit on NASDAQ, and just probably just perfect. Hopefully, they could of course go lower because we would expect them to go lower anyways because we have a 1, 2, 3 top. So we have a 1, 2, 3 top. We are expecting structure like this, so we can get a bounce at this level because we've taken out the lows. So once we take the lows, we can get a bounce, and then we can drop again. So it's a good idea to take your profit at this point, or at least take something off at this point, because they can come all the way back up into, say, into this gap, and then continue down. So, all right. So on Bitcoin, still not there yet. So Bitcoin's got a little bit ways to go yet. Tesla would be almost closed soon, 4 minutes for Tesla to close. So almost taking out the lows there on Tesla. So that's a great move there, Peter. So 244 to 240, 238 even. Wow, that's nice.
Yep.
6 points. That's almost $2,000 there, eh?
Yep.
1,800, 300 lots. Yeah. So still looking for another drop here on Bitcoin. They break this low, I can bring my stop down a little over top here, just in case. And I've already taken some profits off, remember, up here. So this is all just free money, basically, at this point. Oh. So beautiful moves at the macro today. So 3 minutes before the close, less than 3 minutes before the close. So if we look at, let's look at the U.S. The NAS, sorry, on the daily again. So remember, we're gunning for that low here. If I got to see it on the weekly. So we were gunning for this low, and remember I said we were 200 handles away. Could we make it before the close? And they are really giving it a run here. So we're not that far away, really. So 350, and now we're at 550. So we're still 200 handles away from that low. So I don't think they're going to do it before the close now, but that would be something maybe on Sunday when we open, we could see a drop. We could see us opening down at this level perhaps, or somewhere in between, and we could traverse down, and then we could see a retrace back, coming back up. That's a possibility. Maybe cooler heads will have prevailed over the weekend, and we get some good news to turn this market around again. Because it behooves us to have a positive market, right? It's best for everybody concerned for us to continue going back to the upside, not continue going down. It's not going to be any good for anyone if this continues down, taking out all these lows and so forth. That's just nasty. So we don't want to see that. This is definitely a possibility, though. Right? You can't rule that out. There are lots of gaps down here still. You know, lots of places that they can still come all the way down. This whole thing, we've got a big 1-2 here. another 1-2, we could go a long way down. This is definite possibility. I don't want to see that, but you know, what I want and what's going to happen is two different things. So looking at Bitcoin at that level, similar, I've been calling for Bitcoin 75,000. So that means we have to break this low and we could drop through that. So that looks like Bitcoin wants to do that. We've got a 1, 2, 3 here. Oh, see, they came back up and took me out of my Bitcoin. So that's one of the things about moving your stop. So if I go back down, yeah, they came back and there's a gap there. So I didn't even, yeah. And probably a good thing that I did do that anyways, because they come up quite a ways. So there's the gap, came back in. So still looking for them to continue down. So you can always jump back in. That's the beauty of it, and continue down. So, but there we go. So they have a tendency of doing that all very often, taking everybody out who sells on these long moves. They'll come back up and take you out. So you have to be careful where you place your stop. But there is no really safe place, because even if you put it up here, there's nothing that says they can't spike it up there and take you out and then continue down. So most of the time, I prefer to not move my stop. So if I get in, if I say I got in here, I'm going to keep my stop here and not move it at all, and suffer through all this drawdown or pull back here and then wait for it to continue down, because I'm expecting them to continue down. I've got a 1, 2, so the expectation is that they still continue down, take out all the lows. They're just taking a little hiatus, as it were. So as soon as I get a fractal here, I would take the trade again and jump back in.
Part of the success of trading is being able to deal with drawdown.
Yes. So we're still heading down on the tech, on the US NAS. Remove all this stuff. Nice move. Nice move there. So I was expecting Bitcoin to do the same and just continue straight down, but you see they decided no, they're going to go back up first and collect some more orders and then drop it, and that's fine. So there's an order block there. There's a gap here. So they've come back to utilize that. It is still possible for them to take this high as well, because I've got a 1, 2 here. So it is pointing to them taking that high out one more time. So they could even come back, take out this high, go back into this gap before they even come back down. So that's the total possibility. That's how wicked, and I say wicked because they use the wicks to get you. So put this gap up here, and they can wick up and take you out and then come down. So that's still a possibility.
I have to go, Lennox.
All right, sir.
Have
Thanks
a
for
good
dropping in.
weekend, Peter.
Have a good weekend, guys.
You too, Peter. Take care. Good
teaching.
trading.
Good teaching.
Thanks for your input, as always.
Yeah, good teaching.
All right, so we got about 7 more minutes before the macro completes, but beautiful, beautiful setups here at the end. Beautiful trades, great profits. It's just wonderful. That's what we want to see. You know, it's not always that way, but you know. So I was at 2,073,000 when we started this afternoon. I'm at 2,084,000 now. So managed to pull in a little over 11 grand trading with you guys here this afternoon. So not bad. I like it. That's the kind of nice profits in a few hours. It's great.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Yeah. So there's my I'm at $2,084,000. Wow. So started with 100,000 back in October, beginning of October, and I'm now at 2 million at the beginning of April. So that's 6 months time, 100,000 to 2 million. Pretty good. I've had some rough goings, of course, and some smooth goings and stuff like that. But the key is that your curve is rising. Yeah, you're gonna have rough spots, of course, but so very nice. My wife has been very happy throughout this time because, yeah, it's been some nice profits. Wives like profits, eh? Is that how it goes? So are we going to take this high again? Or are they just going to drop it down? I still would expect them to take the high, but they don't have to do that necessarily, but I would expect it. So right now the current gap is holding, so they might not go through it again. It's possible, but I would expect them to go through it one more time, but we shall see if they do or not. So US tech is probably closed, so then S&P is still going, we're getting a bounce. NASDAQ is going, we're getting a bounce. So the difference now, the futures have closed, so I have to resort back to the NAS here, which has not closed yet. The regular NAS. I don't know what they call it. The US NAS100 versus the futures is a different instrument. It's the same instrument, but it's not the futures. That's all. So we break the low. Now that's what we would expect at this point. We get our 1, 2, 3. We come down, break that low, and then we would expect a bounce at this point. So what will happen here? We don't know. We could gyrate this way and then drop. We could gyrate this way and then drop. We could gyrate this way and then drop. We could just drop. So there's a number of scenarios that can play out here, but we don't know what it's going to be. So on Sunday, I would expect an opening that's lower than this low. So I don't think they're going to do this stuff on Sunday. They'll just open up low, and then we might start to see a move back up into Asia session. So that's how I see it. We'll see if that plays out that way. Back to Bitcoin real quick. They don't seem to want to go up one more time here. So if they break this low, which they look like, yep, they did, we might not break this high again, and we could just go from here. So not going to go take that high. Interesting. So a couple more minutes and the macro will be done, and we could call it a day and a week. So our current 4-hour candle is green. Interesting. The middle candle did not take out the low of the previous candle. So that's quite interesting as well. So we've opened, we dropped, and now we've pushed up quite a bit. We didn't take out the high of the last candle either. Now we're pulling back down. So it looks like further down is still in the cards here. And that's what we would expect, because we have a 1, 2, 3 top. So we would expect further drops to come. We still have not taken out these lows yet, so All right, so we've got, we're at the 10 minutes after time. Gentlemen, you all good?
Yeah, Lennox, I'm gonna put my 4-hour candle chart in the room for you. Is
Okay,
that there's a big difference going on.
so there is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin on the daily. Wow, quite the chart here. Very interesting. So big drop all the way down. Chop, 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 chop. And now we're dropping again. So expect them to take that low. Inside that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that would be the expected move for us to go down one more time, take out those lows before we turn around and start going back up for a flying to take out the previous highs of on Bitcoin at 110. And so I'm calling for 75,000 Bitcoin in the short term, and maybe the next week even, and then a big push back up to new highs in Bitcoin. So buying opportunity when Bitcoin comes down below 70 or near 70, especially when we break this level here at 76,567. I think opportunities for buying Bitcoin would be ripe. So what have we got, George? This is the
I put
daily?
the chart in the room for you, Lennox, and
This is a daily chart, eh?
well, I put it's a 10-minute chart with the 4-hour candles on it.
Oh, okay. So, oh yeah, it's the 20. I saw a D there. I thought it was a daily. Okay, so 10-minute chart.
Just not sure why we're so different. Yours seems to be so different from mine, and I don't understand why.
So your last 3 candles, looking at the last 3.
I'm red and you're green, and green says, you know, you should be your
Okay,
almost close should be higher than the open or something.
that's NASDAQ. Let me look at that's the NASDAQ one. So this is, you're using the NASDAQ. I was using Bitcoin, so that's the difference. So this is NASDAQ. I have 3 red ones as well.
Okay.
On the 5-minute.
We had a difference, and you were green and I was red.
I think that might have been because you were looking at Bitcoin. I was looking at Bitcoin.
Oh, okay.
So on Bitcoin, it's different. See? Yeah.
Okay.
But on the NASDAQ, they're definitely all 3 are red. At this point.
Disturbing to see that.
And S&P, and NASDAQ, they're all red, and definitely
so we're
pointing
all
to
good then.
Yeah, definitely pointing to further
Does this look like a nice way of doing it?
Oh, definitely. To be able to see that 4-hour candle is huge, because it really opens you to understand when, again, here they opened that 4-hour candle right here, and they go up into the wick. So the wick is doing the damage here by taking everybody out, taking all the sellers out. And because we're in a downward mode and we have a 1, 2, 3 here, there's no way we want to be tricked into buying. We want to go down. So that's what happens. They take everybody out with the wick, and then they drop it down with the body, and that's the play. So it's if you can see that from the 4-hour candle, then you can make plays down here on the 5-minute, 1-minute time frame and catch these moves. Catch these kind of moves. It's beautiful. So that's what's going on at that level. Really cool. All right.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks everybody for dropping in. Marquis has been here all day. Haven't heard Marquis today.
No, I came in a little late. I was running errands.
Carmen.
No problem, Marquis.
Catch you guys Monday.
Dropping in. Yeah. You're breaking up a little bit there with your mic.
Might be background distortion.
Stacy, thanks for dropping in.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
All right,
That
Armin,
better?
thank you as well.
All right, gentlemen, catch you guys Monday.
Yeah, we'll see you guys on Monday. Take care.
Good night.
All right.